Welcome, everybody. All right, thanks for joining us, Marina and Melissa. Yassine. Okay, we'll get started here in a minute or two and see if we have more TAG members joining us. Welcome, Farah. We'll at least capture the recording for those TAG members that would like to follow up, and we can go ahead and discuss some more about the TAG reboot. I know we didn't have a member, a host signed up. Ricardo, do you want to drive?
Yep. Should I share the slides or of your sharing?
Yep.
Perfect.
I can also make you a co-host if you want to share, but we can do that after the
That's fine.
antitrust. So quick TLDR for people. We abide by the safe code of conduct, and we also have this general antitrust policy that we have to show before every meeting. So with that, we can now kick this over to the meat of it, I think.
All right. Yeah. So I'll drive, but yeah, do jump in as we go along. So the agenda for today is Bob is showing there. The goal is to give an overview of the current tag to the new tag mapping. And then for each of the tags, the existing tags, go through the working groups and recommendations. And then some information for the booths and the tag related sessions. I think we can start in the next one already. So the timeline, we are currently in the freeze period for KubeCon. This will last until 2 weeks after KubeCon, and it's not expected that actions are taken by tags, except to archive all resources, and there will be some mentions of tags that might be on the way to being archived, working groups that are on the way to being archived as well. There will be a new repo structure that I guess, Bob, you will be working on for the new tags after KubeCon.
No, Rian actually has a whip of it that we'll hopefully be sharing sometime soonish.
Okay. And then for any new applications for community groups, they can come after KubeCon, and the TOC will be reviewing them. And for the elections is the last bit. So for the new tags, the elections will go after the KubeCon freeze. So that's 2 weeks after KubeCon. Any questions on this? I don't see any. So the tag mapping is listed here. Don't think we have to go through them all. We discussed this in the previous call as well. So there was no big change here. I don't know if there's any question on these mappings. No, and maybe we go per working group in app delivery, so we can see the operator to be archived, artifacts to be archived with the expectation that initiatives will come with a new tag, the new corresponding tag, which is for app delivery would be Workloads Foundation or Dev Experience. Platforms working group to become a community group. Infrastructure lifecycle, archive, and similar to the one above, and the same for app development. For runtime, so we have the batch one, again, initiating the new one. I think the same is for WASM, container orchestration device, IoT archive, special purpose operating systems, either initiatives or community groups, and the cloud native AI sub-projects in directly under the TOC or community group. To stop if you have questions. Yeah, we can move on. So security, that's a large one. So in this case, there are 4 working groups expected to be archived. So that's automated governance, controls, software supply chain, and research working group. And then the supply chain catalog would be an initiative, compliance, the same or working group, and then the one that is that Bob was highlighting is security assessments, and that would be a sub-project within the tag. And if people have feedback on this one, please come forward as well.
Yeah, I have a quick question about some of the ones being archived, especially automated governance and software supply chain, which are both pretty active right now. Is there a way to like move those to somewhere else? I think 2 of the ones are pretty inactive. The other 2 are not. Yeah.
We thought the automated governance one was kind of done and became the like security baselines in OpenSSF, or is that?
No, sorry, that was a separate working group, which I think we already archived, or the Commons working group was helping with that, and I think we're kind of looking to archive that one.
Okay.
I think, as you kind of say, on demand, right? But the automated governance, I think, is working on a white paper right now.
Okay.
What is their focus?
Yeah, it's on kind of like it's kind of sits in between kind of the compliance stuff and the security stuff in the group, doing things in like automating the security controls and stuff like that.
This is the OSCO Compass.
Involved, but I know kind of what they're doing. Is that what you're asking?
It sounds like this is the OSCO Compass kind of security controls as OSCO expression to be able to detect implementation. Does that sound right?
It's right. I know the OSCO itself is under the compliance working group.
Okay.
But I think they have it's like a related but different focus.
All right. So it sounds like to me the compliance working group and the automated governance working group might need to be revisited in a more in-depth conversation.
Yeah, I think we've kind of briefly talked about that, and that's definitely something worth revisiting. Yeah.
I was going to say something similar, but it sounds like if they want to continue with the white paper, that it would be good to define more of a scope and what the intent is. So applying for a new initiative within the tag, if it's continuing that way. Otherwise, what Emily said as well is the making sure both compliance and automated governance understand what the scope is for what they're doing and how it overlaps. Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess the supply chain working group would be similar, where they could just reapply as an initiative as needed. Cool. Thanks.
All right, thanks, Maria. I think the next one is contributor strategy. So this one, there are 2 community groups that are listed there: inclusiveness and deaf and hard of hearing. And then maybe Bob, you can say something else, something more about the mentoring and maintainer circle, or Ryan.
So I can say for the maintainer circle one, that was essentially just shepherding. Like it was originally sort of having regular meetings for maintainers to share information with other maintainers, but it's kind of become just the maintainer circle Slack channel, and that is sort of becoming the outlet of where the Slack channel for staff and maintainers to interact with each other. The So that, like it might not even really be an initiative or really have to be codified defined anywhere. Um, the mentoring working group, um, that one is sort of I think, two major aspects. One is all the LFX, like all the mentoring programs that are sort of currently being um, organized and run by Nate as a staff member, and then I think there was a other thing that was going to get going on it that was related to um, building mentoring programs or something of that nature. I don't know off the top of my head with that one though.
Okay, and the other two are, I think we discussed this, the other two extensively the last time we had a call about this, which was the contributor strategy and project reviews that go under directly under the TOCS sub projects.
Okay.
All right, and I think next we have environmental sustainability. I don't see any hands. So green reviews becomes a sub-project in one of the new tags, operational resilience, advocacy, community group, and best practices can be applied as an initiative under operational resiliency as well.
I did want to highlight that this working group was initially archived, but it would be good to see this one be picked back up by community members because the direction it was going is fantastic. So it would really, yeah. So under the new tag operational resiliency, if anybody's interested.
Okay. Next.
Yep. Okay, so network, so all working groups will be archived, can reapply for as initiatives, and the same is true for storage and observability. So the level of activity in the existing ones is different from, so yeah, could be seen one by one. And I think that's what we have regarding the mapping of tags and working groups.
I think the rest of this, the previous deck.
Yeah.
Stay.
So I think we can spend some time with questions here or any open items. I don't see any hands. Lee, I see you.
Yeah, I apologize
Yeah.
if this was asked earlier, if you guys covered it, but did we, in terms of the individuals that are involved in on an ongoing basis and helping steward those, new tags, is there discussion there or?
I guess if you go back to the, I think it was in the first slide, we had timeline. Yeah, and the timeline, we have elections for new tags will begin after the KubeCon freeze period ends. So that's 2 weeks after KubeCon.
Gotcha.
Stephen?
Hi, just to clarify the part about, archiving and then asking to reapply within the new tag, is that would be within the new tag mapping, right? So like for runtime, for example, you'd reapply within where the mapping puts you, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Within the new tag, yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, in some cases they can also go under the TOC, like sub-projects or in community groups.
But
Karina, do you want? Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, sorry, just as far as like guidance to like talking to those working groups, you generally like look at the mapping for where those working groups would land in the new world, and then
There,
have them work in that new apply in the new tag basically.
there may be some overlaps. So some old previous working groups, for example, platforms working group may apply for initiatives within multiple tags, depending on what area they're working in. Some may be more specific. So for runtime, Stephen, perhaps the WebAssembly working group may apply for initiatives within the Workloads Foundation tag. So it'll depend on who you're talking to.
Sure.
Essentially, with align with the new scopes.
Okay. Yeah. So kind of even look at this slide maybe and see where it might be best fit. That makes sense. Thank you.
We have Ryan after.
Just a quick thought about the mentoring working group turning into initiative. So the idea of initiative, they should have a start and an end. But the mentoring working group is a continuous process of term after term recruiting mentors. It's run by a staff member from CNCF, and it's a function that will not end. So maybe it should rather be a TOC sub-project or totally something outside the structure.
I think it's we have it under a sub-project under the tag, but yeah, it's true that
Yeah, it would probably wind up being a sub-project under the
TOC.
initiative or sub-project, yeah.
But initiative, I might be wrong. Initiative should have an end.
Yeah.
So we should make it a sub-project then under the TOC.
Yeah.
So I think
The concern, so this may be something we need to talk further with the LF staff members on what is going on with the mentoring working group? What are the exact activities? Because many working groups can make the argument that they're continuously working on something. So what are the exact deliverables?
So the meetings of the mentoring working group is people coming around asking, how do I become a mentee mentor? So it's actually it's not really a working group. It's not really a tag. It is a staff function for getting people to become mentees and mentors. So it might actually not fit here at all. Or
Would
Emily,
that be
you've got a thought?
Would that be a community group? I think Emily, you raised your hand for this one, but Marina, I think you have a different topic, unless it's, I don't want to jump.
Topic,
Sorry.
so if Emily's on this, go.
Yeah, so the maintainer working group serves a bunch of different functions, but Tyrion's point in its simplest form, it is matching mentors and mentees and making an accessible path for that kind of activity to occur within Cloud Native. It's the outputs of what happens as a result of that is where we get the most value and benefit as a community. We've had many individuals go through that mentoring program that have turned into maintainers. I think the most recent metric from Chris Anachek was what, 15 mentees turned into maintainers. And given that we have a challenge in bringing new maintainers into projects, that is an excellent opportunity and pipeline to do that. The challenge that we're seeing, if I recall correctly from earlier discussions, is getting more projects involved in that so that we can get them more maintainers and assist them in building that contributor ladder. So that sounds to me more like a TOC level kind of sub-project that needs to be driven by LF staff because it helps us meet our TOC outcomes in providing support for projects.
I guess that's in line with what you were suggesting, Ryan, to have it more like a sub-project under the TOC.
Yeah, I think because it's going to be with us forever and their job is to get us maintainers, I think a sub-project would be the right place for them under the TOC.
take note. Sounds good. Marina.
Yeah, I'm curious about if there's any guidance for working groups that are applying as new initiatives, like what that looks like, what the application process looks like what I can like tell people, that'll be.
I have a GitHub issue template for that.
Okay, cool. So they just open an issue, and then is it like a voting process, or is it just like within the tag, or is it within the TOC to then take the next step on that?
So post KubeCon, we will go through, the TOC will go through all the initiatives and all the sub projects and go through an approval. So for initially, the TOC will be approving any new initiatives and sub projects while the new tags get rolling.
And then
And then
what's the ongoing work between now and when those things are approved?
that's a good question because ongoing work right now, for example, the assessments, right?
Yeah.
Or so the assessments,
Ongoing white papers that like I think that are happening or stuff like that that's like currently already started.
those continue, something like the white papers that would need to be reapplied. So the security assessments working group that would need to still apply within the template for a new one. That one's, and then the white papers, they'll have to be looked at. Remember there's for initiatives, is there a timeline and showing progress? Right? So those will need to each white paper deliverable that's being worked on within each. So it would help if the chairs go through and do an inventory of who's working on what and who wants to keep working on it. So that would really help.
Should we update on the timeline? Because I think on the slide on the timeline we mentioned something like no actions taken by tags, but I think to Marina's point, we should probably be specific, like whatever ongoing actions should be finalized, and maybe you can explicitly ask for this inventory as well, or if possible.
Exactly. Thanks for calling that out.
And for
I
stuff
think
that's like,
it's yeah, slide 3 on the timeline. We just update that one. I think it will be clearer.
yeah. And for like the ones that are actually, happening right now and are actually like doing work, I think this is, you still sort of create the issue for it. And just so we know, again, which group is responsible for it now, who are the owners and things like that.
Bob, just a quick question. For the expectation is that for community groups, there will be a similar issue template or?
So, yep, that is over in the community
Okay.
groups repo.
All right,
And they
fair enough.
have some issue templates already. And I've talked to them about creating one sort of explicitly for sort of these more technical topic focused groups. Because the stuff that's currently there, like it was originally community groups really meetup focused, but they've kind of now gone to cover a lot more things. And they've just kind of been using the current templates there. It's like they have under the chapters, I think it's like the CNCF hosted projects, some other things there.
But okay, just to clarify, because we mentioned also in the same slide that any community group must apply post KubeCon and receive approval. So this approval is from the TOC or somewhere else?
To start at least, we probably will have the TOC approval.
Okay, so maybe the request for the community group should come in the TOC repo. I see Emily has the hand raised as well.
Yeah, so I think what we had originally talked about earlier on is a lot of the initial approvals need to go at the TOC level until we can get things sorted out and understand what is most appropriate to be delegated back to the tags, because this is brand new process. We all need to have a good understanding of how this all works. For community groups, I don't believe, and CNCF staff correct me, there is any mechanism that prevents anyone in the community from starting a community group through community.cncf.io. Is that correct?
The main thing, it has to get reviewed by the staff, and they're the ones that will do the final approval. And so, like, what's happened in the past, if a more technical group applies, good example was the book club, I think, or even like the research user group, where it's just kind of like, hey, does this make sense for it to be a community group? Okay, yes, no, sweet, we'll create it. No, we'll let them know.
Okay, so maybe we make it explicit that we don't
Yeah.
expect TLC approval for those, at least for now. I see, Marina, you have your hand raised. Sorry.
Yeah, so I just want to reiterate that. So is there any accountability process that tags will have for making sure that these votes happen in a timely manner? So I know, like, right now there are 3 TOC votes that have been open for more than a week, and you know, it's sometimes when we get, like, you know, chair approval or whatever, it can take up to a month. And I just worry that if every initiative is going through this process, right, then everything has to wait that whole waiting period for a full TOC vote. And I just don't want to stop people from doing work because they're waiting on that. So I don't know, is there a way for us to make sure that that happens faster?
I think, like, especially with, we're all going into this knowing that there's going to be a lot more demand for like, or need for active reviews and all that, and they're like, it should happen sooner.
Okay, but like, what if it doesn't? Like, what if, as we've seen right now, that there's these, you know, vote issues that stay open for weeks at a time? Like, I just don't.
Which vote? CNC.
A good example is John Kells for becoming co-chair. That one was open
Yeah,
for a
like a
long
month.
period of time. Yeah, we can certainly do better. We've instituted a lot of changes to the TOC to help us with that. It's just getting our attention to go and click the button. And I think that's something that we could probably programmatically add. I mean, we started adding agenda items at the top to hit every single one of our meetings. Karina, you're the chair. What's your view?
Well, I was also going to ask what votes that you mean that are open right now, because are they in the tag security repo? We shouldn't have any
The
votes
health
open.
ones, I think, or the ones currently open that are.
Oh, so those ones are a little different because I opened up the vote on those following some feedback from Kevin, but that happened also right at the TOC transition.
Okay. Yeah,
So,
and
like,
I'm not trying to, like, put a blame thing, but I just really want to make sure that we're not stopping work from happening
Oh, yeah,
by
yeah.
a third party. Like, if we can keep some of this stuff within the tags, I think we might be able to iterate a little bit faster.
No.
Well,
I-
or
as-
at least for the initial, I understand where you're coming from. Absolutely, Marina. We have a new TOC active. We're like Emily mentioned, well, every TOC meeting, we start with looking at what the open votes are. And during the meeting, because usually we've talked about it extensively, async or within the meetings, we're trying to get, you know, TOC members to vote immediately during the days that we meet. So we're getting much better about voting faster and definitely keep holding the TOC accountable. But just initially for this tag reboot, the initiatives and sub-projects will need to be voted on by the TOC.
Yeah.
All right, I think we are on the hour. Karina, do you want to summarize the next steps from here to Cook and after?
So next steps, we'll have communications coming out. Also, the maintainer summit for anybody that will be there. We have the reboot workshop. It is not to rehash a lot of this, but it is to come up with ideas for initiatives and also gain some momentum on initiatives that people are interested in. So that is the time and place to hopefully get more people working in the areas that, you know, you're interested in, right? And Marina is helping with the project review session, so please go to that one, and also the security assessment session, so please go to that one as well. But we'll all be there, and we'll be, yeah. So the call to action is come to Maintainer Summit. After KubeCon, we'll have a public session for those of you that can't be there as well. So, and keep pinging us in the TOC Slack channel as well. And for tag leads, the tag chairs Slack channel. And so, thank you. Thanks, Ricardo.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you, everyone. And see you soon.
See you soon.
See ya.
Bye bye.
2 weeks. Well, 3 weeks.